Yes, good evening from Amsterdam, the Netherlands, and good morning, beautiful day, I hope, in San Francisco area. I have Melissa Risdon, and I'm very, very excited for the topic of today and for the amazing woman that Melissa is. So, we're going to talk about emotions. We're going to talk about managing emotions in challenging times and do some energy healing um, with Melissa Risdon. And Melissa is an intuitive energy healer with incredible gifts. Before being or focusing only on this, Melissa has been in IT in Silicon Valley, so she knows business. She knows how corporate world is, and she's such a complex woman. So she has the business brain, the strong academic background, and also she got in touch with the right brain and going deeper into her body and developing this beautiful intuitive energy healing gifts that she has. And she can look into your field of energy and see all the belief systems, vibrational patterns, and blocks that are working against you. And Melissa uses her unique gifts to remove those blocks and shift the energy and align people to their vibration that they desire. She helps remove blocks to shift energy into experiencing more high vibrational states of being, like love, abundance, guidance, and of course, a deeper connection to your soul. And she has worked with some of the most amazing entrepreneurs, coaches, thought leaders, business owners, marketers, and salespeople by aligning their energy with their soul desires. Allowing you to live in the energy you most desire in the present moment. And it's just an amazing topic to get into because I experience firsthand, seeing at my clients and also in my private life, um, this period of isolation, social isolation, can bring up patterns that were blocked, that were not addressed when they were supposed to be addressed. And especially during these challenging times, any small trigger can, unblock, or not unblock, but can open the Pandora's box. And you don't know, if you're not prepared, you don't know what you're gonna deal with.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy, Melissa, that you're gonna guide us through some things, and we're gonna have a beautiful discussion, and hopefully, um, for me and for many other people, very useful. But before we get into this is our tradition, Melissa. We have, the centering moment. So
Nice.
we're gonna take for today. I propose again Ho'oponopono. So a minute. Just I'm gonna guide you with a Ho'oponopono. So we do some clearing to start with, right? And then people can connect with their higher self or with the source, with the God, with whatever works for you in your belief system. So let's do it. So just gently close your eyes and connect with the breath. Just notice how deep the breath lands into the body. Do not modify anything, just notice the breath and stay with the breath for a couple of deep breaths. And maybe we can now equalize the breath, make it even in breath and the out breath. And let's make now the out breath just a little bit longer than the in breath. While we relax now the shoulders, the jaw, or tongue. Just let it be. Let the gravity follow its rhythm. And Melissa, maybe you can help me when I start with Ho'oponopono. You're going to say with me loud, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Please forgive me.
Please forgive me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love you.
And I love you.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I love you.
I love you.
Please forgive me.
Please forgive me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love you.
I love you.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Please forgive me.
Please forgive me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you can open your eyes. Welcome, Melissa. Thank you. So let's get into emotions.
What a
Yeah.
beautiful
Big
way to
stuff, huh?
start. Yes, it's emotions are a fascinating thing because it's something that we all have, we all experience, and when you really start having conversations with people, a huge amount of us are not comfortable experiencing them, admitting them, especially being with them in front of other people. And I asked in a couple different Facebook groups I'm in a bunch of questions, like what messages did you get about your emotions when you were young? And it was amazing how many people where it was just parents, love them. Some of us are parents, and it's things like, I'll give you something to cry about. That's not anything to cry. Stop your crying. Stop. We're told consciously and unconsciously to not have the emotions that we have.
I just call it a pattern interrupt to feeling life, basically.
Yeah. And so we become adults, and it's like we don't know what we're supposed to do with emotions. And depending on
Yes.
your beliefs and studies, everything for me, everything is energy. Emotions get stuck inside our body.
Yes.
And emotions, to me, in my world, they're this beautiful thing that give you power, they give you freedom, they give you release, they give you ecstasy, they give you everything. And we're just conditioned over and over and over again to suppress them. And quite often people, we talk about the negative
Yes.
emotions that are suppressed, but if you're suppressing the negative side, you're also suppressing the positive side.
I like to call not negative or positive emotions. And I tell you why.
True.
I like to call them uncomfortable or pleasant emotions
I love it.
because we know the more we are beautiful creatures of nature, and each emotion has a certain
Yes.
role. So I prefer to call them uncomfortable. And actually, this is the thing that drives us. We do not want to feel uncomfortable emotions, right? And we do anything to. And let's not make it. In general, the society did not encourage us to feel all the emotions, right?
Yeah.
At school, you didn't get any classes on how to stay with emotions and navigate and move the energy through your body, right?
Yeah. And I do say I didn't catch myself, but I do kind of say in quotes like negative emotions because it's the emotions that we
We tend
judge
to label them.
are
Absolutely.
uncomfortable.
Yeah. But
That
actually,
it's like you're not
yeah,
supposed to feel,
yeah,
anger, or upset, or rage, or depression. And it's like I think there's a positive intent behind every single
yes,
emotion. There's
absolutely.
something that's being communicated to you or through you or for you.
Yeah,
And then you get into the whole world of so many people are empathic, right? So they're
yeah.
feeling emotions, and it's like they don't
Hmm.
even know how to decipher between what's mine, what's others, what am I sensing.
Exactly,
And it's
exactly.
it's this fascinating Pandora's box of information. And for me, like there's a positive intent behind every single emotion. And yet over and over again, we kind of live in this world society, and I think it kind of goes across the planet, that stay away from, I love that you say it, the uncomfortable kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
you look at, I love always the metaphor of nature. Like you look at the metaphor of nature and it's like a lion, they go into extreme emotions of anger, protection, those kinds of things. They go to extreme levels. They also will go, just mama cat, mama lion, she'll be, extremely defensive, and then a moment later the sweetest, most loving thing with her cub. And it's like we're supposed to feel all of it.
Yeah. Yesterday, I was talking to my husband during our long walks. We were with our dog and we were looking at Grace, and then look how she just shakes it all out and then she moves on. So that's one
Yes,
of the things that we need to do,
that
actually,
is
shake it off,
that
right?
is I'm a total dog person. That is a complete and utter metaphor I use all the time, because you'll see two dogs, like, or you'll see a dog just start barking or get upset about something, and their hair on their back of their neck goes up, on their back by their tail goes up, and then a couple minutes later they shake it off. Like any dog I have, I always teach them to shake, like physically shake, like they're shaking off
Yes.
the water.
Yeah,
And it's the same thing. Like what
exactly.
how different would our lives be if we actually gave ourselves permission to feel it and release it?
Yes.
Like even just a little kid, like sometimes kids don't know what to do. You got a 4-year-old little boy, a sibling took their train away, and he doesn't know what to do. He's frustrated, he's upset. Like, I don't really know what the right answer is, but imagine he was given permission to like yell for, 30 seconds and then be done with it. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yes.
don't know what the right answer
Just
is,
feel
because
the, yeah.
it's going to be per kid and per person and that kind of stuff. But there is something in allowing the releasing. And I find even for myself that if I just allow myself to feel and experience it and express the intensity of an emotion, it goes away like
You,
that.
there's no neuroscience that shows now that it takes about 90 seconds actually for an emotion, because any emotion has some biochemical activity in the body, and it takes about 90 seconds to release those chemicals and move in with the blood. So basically 90 seconds, just stay 90 seconds with the feeling, acknowledge it, calm down
Yeah.
your brain, and then create space and move to the next one, right?
Yeah. One of my mentors shared that, and I still haven't found the study on it. It's probably a similar study, but she shared with me that if you feel the raw emotion, it won't last for 90 seconds. And it felt so true when she said that to me. I've tried. And that means like not feeding it with a story. So if you're, say something happens and I'm angry, if I just feel raw anger, it doesn't last for more than, I've tried. It doesn't
Yes,
last for more than
absolutely.
90
Absolutely.
seconds, right? It will last days, weeks, month if I'm just constantly
Recreating a
feeding it
memory
and
that you
yeah,
remember.
yeah,
Yes.
like recreating it and feeding it and adding to it,
Yeah.
then it lasts a really long time. It can last years.
Yes, absolutely. And we become even more expanding on that. Let's put a little bit of frustration and disappointment and some anger, and so, so we create stories around it. So especially now in these times, when small things can create a tsunami,
Yes.
especially if because people are not used to feel the emotions, to express them in a
Yeah.
constructive way, means that we carry a lot of burden in our bodies and in our mind, and then a small thing happens, and then it comes a reaction that has nothing to do with what happens, but it just
Yes.
you inflated a balloon or something, everything comes out. So
Yeah.
what do you do with this?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What's your view on this?
Well, I am, whenever people I work with and anybody I talk to, friends, coworkers, whomever, I always say it's a get it out. Not a lot of us aren't driving at the moment, but when we were, I would say, like, in your car by yourself, it's a great place because no one's really paying attention to what you're doing. You can turn on really loud music and you can say whatever it is that you want to say. So often we're mad at somebody, or
Mhm.
I go with anger and madness because I think it's an easy one for people to relate
To
to,
relate to.
and it has movement to it. So it's one of those things, like if you're angry at somebody, imagine they're sitting in the car next to you, and say every single thing that you would actually probably never actually say to a person, but what's in you, just say what's
Let it out.
in you to let it out. Like there's times I've been mad at somebody and I have felt hatred. Never would I actually say to this person, I hate you, right? But it's like I'm just honoring that I experienced it. And it also
Yeah.
has to do with other times in my life I didn't give myself permission. So
Hmm.
having a safe, sacred place to really express it and just get everything out.
Yeah.
Like I'm in my car all the time yelling and screaming on stuff, because sometimes it's just like, like little kids will just scream, right?
Yeah.
But as adults, we don't do that. It's not proper, it's not acceptable. But like if you're
Yeah.
in your car, I mean, sometimes somebody cuts you off and your level of intensity of frustration, it has nothing to do with really what
Yeah.
just actually happened, but it just triggers. And it's like, give yourself permission to get it out, because I find that the more I do this, I will scream and yell for maybe a couple minutes, and then I'm laughing at myself, because it's like
Yeah.
it is the dog shaking it off.
Exactly.
It feels so much better to get it out.
Yeah. I'm looking for it on my iPad because I read just if I find it, great cultivate your creativity. Yeah. So let me see her name if I can find morning. I don't know if I find it so easy, and probably not. But anyway, morning pages. Yes, morning pages. So let me see if I have her name. But otherwise, you just go and Google it. Oh yeah, it's a morning page is a creative exercise from The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. It's the first thing that you do in the morning. You take, and it just helps a lot to get stuff out and to let the creativity arise. So you basically take 3 papers and then write all the thoughts in the morning that come out, everything.
Ah.
Ta-da.
Mhm.
And of course, this is not something you share with somebody
Yep.
because you might write about them. And this is something you take it out of your system on a piece of paper and you keep writing, keep writing. It's like a meditative um,
Love it.
practice, if you like. And it's when you do this, you practice also self acceptance and you tap into your intuition, which is your thing. So it's morning pages. This is a nice
I love that.
healing ritual. So you do this even before meditation. I haven't done it, but it's something that I want to try. So you
I
again
used
you
to
create.
I used
Yeah,
to journal for years, like
yeah,
because what started with me is I don't know how many years ago, it was early 2000s. I went through a divorce and I was in therapy, and it would take me months to realize, like, wow, when that specific thing happened, I felt
yeah, yeah.
angry, or I felt hurt, or I felt disrespected. Like it would take me months, and so I got kind of comfortable in over the years, just getting used to, what are the feelings. And I used to journal all the time, because it helped me process, it helped me get
Yes,
some stuff out, because
yes.
no matter who you are, we all have stuff from our childhood. And some
Of
people
course, of
some
course. And
people don't want to like look
we
at it, but it's
yeah,
like it's there.
yeah,
So
and we evolve
help
in
yourself.
spiral. So we go to a next level, right?
Yeah, so it's finding a way that works for you. Like there was a time in my life that I journaled. I mean, I had books and books and books. I just journal, because that was
Yeah,
the way I processed. Now I'm in a phase where just getting it verbally out helps. I was in a phase quite a few years ago where I needed the physicalness of it. So I always laugh when I tell people a story that I was upset. I was processing emotions. I was angry. And it was like, I don't know, 8 o'clock at night. I went to Target. I went and bought like a pink wiffle ball bat. And I came back and it's like, I beat the shit out of my bed until I cried. Because then what happened is I got to the next level of emotion where it was like, there was hurt and sadness
yeah,
that was just, anger was just covered up over it.
of
And so
course.
sometimes it's like, I needed the physical movement. That's why,
Yeah,
exercise is great too,
yeah, absolutely.
because it's the movement in your body to actually be able to get it and release it.
Yeah,
And
and you know,
and it's
yeah,
a process.
it is a process because yeah, and especially if you commit yourself to be on a path of spirituality and self actualization. This is stuff that comes. Um, and you know, speaking about anxiety, there's so much more under
Yes.
feelings under anxiety. So anxiety and worry and distractions, actually these are mechanisms through which we not allowed ourselves to feel the deeper feelings, like
Uh-huh.
maybe sadness, helplessness, disappointment, frustration, anger. And then we just have the vocabulary, oh, I feel anxious, but actually it's something much deeper inside, and we
And
don't allow ourselves.
anxious is an interesting one, because if
Yeah,
when you're anxious, you're really focused on something in the future, which really takes you out of the present moment.
present moment,
You know,
absolutely.
you're really stressing and focused on something that's out in front of you. And depression is behind you. You know, you're
Exactly.
replaying something. And so it is fascinating to be like, you know, there's emotions in front of you, there's emotions behind you, and what can you do to bring it into the present
Yeah,
moment? And depending
instead of
on
instead of escaping the present moment.
yes, and depending on where you're at, you might just be at a point of admitting that you're anxious, admitting
Yeah.
that you're ignoring the present. You know,
Yes.
and I know, Catalina, you teach so much stuff about being present. You teach that about being in our body and our
Yeah.
breath, and getting back to that. And those are the things that help so much for you to experience. And then, you know, giving yourself also the permission to release it, I think, is so important.
And can you imagine how much room we make also to become more intimate in our relationships, to perform better because we get in more states of flow, right? When
Yeah.
we allow ourselves of this. So I
Yeah.
love that you're saying this. Yeah, I give you I grant you permission
Yeah.
to feel yourself,
And
and so
especially, like, you know, right now and what we've been going through for the last 5 or 6 weeks, like we the whole world is in a new experience. It's the first time where it's like almost everything in your life, there's a feeling of uncertainty with health, family, finances, you know, work, my job, my
yes,
am I going to see my family again? Not going to see my family again. Social
yes,
distancing, you know, there, so it's like there's this heightened, and we're going through it and everybody else is going through it. So
yeah,
there's just this heightened. And for me, like, what can we do to help ourselves through it, as opposed to being victims to it? That it's like we are in a heightened state of the world is changing.
yes,
And, you know, what can we do as an each individual to be more present with ourselves?
yes,
And
yes.
it's not always easy.
No, it's not. But we are. I love to be a player and not a spectator. Well, I am a spectator when I go to the theater, but I want to be a player in my life, right?
Mhm.
And I have people around me to remind me if I slip into the other side,
Uh-huh.
in the complaining or something, And it's very important to have a very good peer group that
Yeah.
supports us, that holds space for us in order to just be who we are, but also move forward in life in the direction that we want, right?
Yeah. And I think learning to ask for help with inside your peer group,
Yeah,
and ask for what you need. Like, hey, I need somebody just to listen to me. I just need
right.
somebody to be present with me.
Yeah,
It's not easy. It's really scary, but it's one of those things, like, it's such a great gift to give yourself, to have the courage
right.
to
Yeah,
ask for help.
right. And this is vulnerability, and vulnerability,
Mhm.
it's a complex one because you need to start learning to feel all the others, like um, anger, and be comfortable with it. Anger, sadness, frustration, helplessness, in order to feel it, so then be vulnerable, because otherwise it's just a mental
Yes.
exercise. How many we know that vomit their life on others in the spirit of vulnerability, which is not really. But anyway, let's get back to your stuff. Energy healing, one
Yeah.
of your multiple gifts that you bring to the world. So how can we use this?
It's similar to what we've been chatting about, is that if you will go with a dog metaphor, right? Like, a dog will protect its owner. The shackles on its back, the hair on the back goes up, and then it at some point will physically shake that energy off. And
Yeah.
that's really like the metaphor of what energy clearing is that there can be energy and blocks trapped inside of us. Somebody might have, maybe they're hitting a money ceiling, and it's traced back to when they were like 4 years old, and they were at the fair, and their dad said, they were like, I want a cotton candy. And the dad was like, no, we can't afford it, which is a totally normal parental thing to say. So if ever you
Yeah.
hear anything, we talk about things that we get stuck, the energy
Yeah.
that gets stuck, if you're a parent, don't blame yourself. You
Yeah.
never know what's gonna happen or why. But it's like,
Yeah.
sometimes that might be showing up in your energy field as a financial block. There might be a thought pattern, there might be a belief, there might be something stuck, like our confidence is in our solar plexus. So,
Yes.
right below our, at the top or the bottom of the rib cage. Right here. It's like,
Yeah.
I can't explain.
Exactly.
That's where our confidence is, and energy will get stuck there. Common energy place I see is in the throat.
Throat,
Thought a lot of
especially women,
people,
huh?
yeah, a lot of women. A lot of, if there's neck problems, right? People seem to blame it on so many different things. And it's like, well, how many times did you say yes when you meant no? I mean, there's kind of an innate thing with women and the feminine to help our families. And so quite often, like, we say yes when we mean no, we say no when we mean yes. And there's a huge amount of energy with women. I see that, I think, every single woman I've spoken with, it's there. Or you don't want to come across too bold or too bitchy. So you'll suck those words in. And it's like, that affects us.
Yeah.
And so the idea is what I do is, I see it, I'll voice it, I'll say it, and then with my intention and yours, it's releasing it. And whether you really believe it works or not, it does actually work. It actually can release the energy. If you're sensitive,
Yeah.
you can feel it. Some people can, some people can't. And some of it, I feel like it's like anything else, like any other skill set, you have to condition it and work at it. You if you're going to be an ultra marathon runner, you had to start, running for a minute first. At some point, you ran a
Yeah.
minute, then you ran 10
Yeah.
minutes, and
Yes.
that's also with the intuition. It's conditioning that kind of stuff so that it becomes easier
Keep
and easier. Yep.
repeat it, and celebrate your small
Yeah.
wins right on the way, because the brain will want more of
Yeah.
this, right?
Yeah. If you've got physical pain, saw somebody on Facebook today, they had some pain in their leg, and it was like, just imagine bringing white light to it. Imagine that there's like molecular energy leaving and dissolving and coming off the body, and then filling up every place. This is an important thing. Every place the energy was released, fill that up with white light. Uh, my teaching on energy, it comes through light. And I was taught that whatever light color you see is what's true. And that's one of the things I love, the way that I was taught, is how things show up for you in your intuition and how you see things is going to be different than me. And it's all correct and accurate. And
Absolutely.
and white light is just that pure energy of white light. But if you think that you need to bring some blue into it, trust
There
it.
you go. Yes, absolutely. So shall we do maybe something?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
What do you
Should
what
we do
would you
some
like?
healing? So
Yeah.
let's go with our intuition. So what's one thing that shows up that you have noticed in the past weeks, pattern, or we can work on?
Yeah, two things that I see a lot is that throat energy. So we can do some clearing with that, because I think that's a pretty popular one. And then the other thing is, I always love to have people feel into the difference between the energy of their soul and the energy of their physical body.
Yeah.
Because just as often, you do a lot of stuff with breath work, that sometimes we just breathe to about right here.
Yeah.
Often people's soul is not touching the sole of their feet. And
Yeah.
so there's like a vacancy in the bottom half of the body.
Yeah. And if you look also in the ancient um, schools, feminine schools, This is the twin with our vaginal yoni. So releasing tension here in the neck will also release tension. Now,
Yeah.
because I'm sure people that the women that especially that have this tendency of saying no when they say yes and the meant yes and the other way around, not speaking their truth, have also some sexual problems, some problems also in the area of feminine.
Yeah.
So who knows? Open up and
Yeah.
try. And if you just try it, and then if it works, keep implementing. And that's always like this. That's being a player. Okay, so let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I'll just do a short one, but we'll just do a little
Just a
guided,
short one.
just do a
Yeah.
little guided meditation. So just close your eyes and just bring your attention to your body and to your breath. And then bring your attention up above your head 200 or 300 feet where you will see, sense, or feel the light. And that's the same, like if people pray, it's that same spot where you just bring in that light and bring in that energy and bring it down into the top of your head, in your eyes, your nose, your ears, your mouth, into your throat. Just filling up that area with love, light, and truth. Bring it down into your shoulders, down your arms, out your fingertips, down into your chest, your stomach, your back, your hips, all the way down your legs, all the way down to your feet, to the center of the planet. At the center of the planet, you'll sense this beautiful mother's love. It's Mother Earth, just loving of all creatures, all beings, all stages of life, and just bring that energy, that unconditional love up into the bottom of the soles of your feet, into your ankles, your knees, your hips, all the way up through your body, out the top of your head and out your fingertips. And you will sense you're beautifully connected from the energy above and the energy below, right in that heart space. And just imagine that energy twirling around in that heart space and expanding out 360 degrees every single direction, expanding out bigger than the room you're in, bigger than the building, bigger than the city, the state, the continent. And just expand that energy out bigger than the planet, all the way out past the edge of the moon, where you're an infinite being having a human experience. And any and all energy that's able to easily and effortlessly release your body, clear and transmute across all time, dimension, space, and reality. And bring a big white light like the size of a basketball to that throat area. And just imagine energy that's in that throat area loosening up the front of the throat, the back of the throat, all throughout the neck. Just anywhere and everywhere where I've said yes, where I meant no, clear and transmute across all time, dimension, space, and reality. Anywhere and everywhere I've not spoken my truth, I forgive myself. Anything that's in the way of that, clear and transmute across all time, dimension, space, and reality. Anywhere and everywhere I need to forgive myself for not being in my truth, not speaking my truth, clear and transmute across all time, dimension, space, and reality. And just imagine that you're just pulling a big chunk of energy, just old energy, off your throat and just throwing it up to the ethers and dissolving it off your throat. Anywhere and everywhere, there's just any energy that's old energy, that's stuck energy, anything that makes it like a stiff neck, clear and transmute across all time, dimension, space, and reality. Also, one thing is a lot of times throat energy can be related to past lives. There's a lot of people that are really spiritual that at one point, or things like witches and goddesses. And if we're just concentrating on that feminine, there's a lot of those types of things where people were hung and decapitated. So there can be a lot of neck energy. So any past life energy that's ready to be released, clear and transmute across all time, dimension, space, and reality. Anywhere and everywhere in a past life that I was killed or my life was taken from me for speaking my truth, clear and transmute across all time, dimension, space, and reality. Anywhere and everywhere there's any fear inside of me for speaking my truth, anything that's related to any sort of past life or this life, past experience, clear and transmute across all time, dimension, space, and reality. And just bring a bunch of white light to the throat, to the neck, filling up anywhere and everywhere where any energy was released, filling up energy at the molecular level, anything and everything that's in the way of that, clear and transmute across all time, dimension, space, and reality. And just expand that white light from the throat all the way up to the top of the head, all the way down to the bottom of the feet. Just releasing and filling up anywhere any energy was released. And just notice feeling the boundaries of your human body. Feel into the vibration of your soul. Feel into how big and massive and beautiful and amazing your soul is. And just notice where in your body your soul is. And wherever it is, just bring the soul all the way down to the soles of your feet. And just with your imagination, connect your soul with the soles of your feet so that your whole body is filled up with your entire soul, connected with your soul's vibrational frequency, connected with your truth. And anything and everything that's in the way of you speaking your truth, clear and transmute across all time, dimension, space, and reality. And just bring some more white light to that throat area. Just take another breath, just getting present back with your body, present back with my voice, with this moment. And just come on back to now and open your eyes.
Oh, how beautiful. Oh, I feel very light. I feel very light.
That is the most common thing that is said to me.
So, I'm gonna let you finish um, this chat because I'm in a beautiful place. So maybe you sum up for people three things, when it comes to
Yeah,
emotions and energy. And while I'm savoring,
yeah,
I'm engaging myself in the activity of savoring of this wonderful energy. And I hope people will listen to this because they can listen to the
yeah,
recording, of course, and it works the same because it's no time
yeah.
and space for the
Yeah, there's no
energy.
time or space because you're listening to it in the present moment. So whether it's a recording or whether it's live or whether it's, the fifth time you listen to it, you're in the present. And that's the present is the only time that you can release stuff. It's the only time that you can experience emotions. And
Right.
so bringing yourself to that present moment is the greatest gift that you can give yourself, being present with who you are, what you need, what you want. And I think a huge practice is that opening practice of that ho'oponopono of just forgiving ourselves. And know when you do energy clearing, it can do so many different things. You can yawn, you can cough. I've seen people giggle, you can cry, and
I
think,
feel like going to sleep,
or you
Melissa,
go to
right now.
sleep. You
So
can go to
you know,
sleep. You do a lot of work. You do a lot of meditation, so you get into that kind of
yeah,
zone really
yeah,
quickly. Um, and even whether you work with me, whether you work with an expert, just know these are also things that you can do. I highly recommend working with somebody because it just I'm in the I love therapists, coaches, those types of things because it helps us faster.
accelerate. Yeah.
It helps accelerate things. And no matter where you are on the journey, just know that it's about starting.
Mm,
So if you're not somebody that's been comfortable thus far in your life with your emotions, just start little by little, just understanding how you feel, admitting to yourself how you feel, then maybe admitting to somebody, confidant, somebody you feel really safe with, how you
yes,
feel or how you did feel. Hey, I realized I felt really disrespected when, my ex-boyfriend did such and such 10 years ago. And it's like, it's okay because whether you felt it 10 years ago or you're just feeling it for the first time now, that admittance helps heal.
yeah,
And just remember that kind of visual of the dog shaking it off.
exactly.
You can do that. It
Yeah,
is that simple. It's a practice like with anything else.
and it's a magical one. Look at me. I mean, we're gonna end this up. I'm in heaven. I feel like, ooh, and so you're gonna close this. Say hello, bye bye to people because I'm just relaxing now.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well,
It's
I
really good.
absolutely love you, Catalina. I love so much of what you've helped me with in my own life, of just really, you've definitely helped with my own breath and getting present.
Mm,
And that, helps me get more present with what I
mm,
need. Um,
mm.
so yeah, so thank you so much for having me. This is such a
Thank you.
beautiful experience. I
And I
appreciate it.
hope you'll come again
I would love to.
soon.
Yeah.
And
My
thank you,
favorite.
everybody. Have a wonderful day, and see you tomorrow. Much love, Melissa. Thank you.
Much love to you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. I go to bed. Really, I'm sick. Really. Bye.
Bye.